My name is Epetola Fakta, and I'm here to introduce today's speaker. He's the founder and CEO of a startup called All Talent LSCC with a mission to restore excellence globally. He has facilitated the startup culture, hired and led the executive team, and made managerial and operational decisions that led to breaking even in the first 2 months of operation. With over 10 years of experience in business development, marketing, and project management, he has a deep understanding of brand fundamentals and consumer communication, as well as the specifics of various markets and segments. He is also the group president of Pure Clean Home Savers, a restoration and mitigation company that provides services to residential and commercial customers. He has been instrumental in developing and implementing marketing strategies, negotiating agreements with vendors and operators, and overseeing multiple brands and consumer segments. He is passionate about navigating the future of outsourcing and mitigation and delivering quality and value to his clients. He is also a motivational speaker on leadership and strategic planning and a mentor to aspiring entrepreneurs. His passion is to build businesses, all craft legacies that make a positive impact on the world. Join me as I welcome Mr. Sadiq Isu to the virtual mic.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Fetia, for that powerful introduction. Mr. Sadiq, over to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, and thanks for that introduction, Ms. Fatia, as well as Oludotun. And thank you a lot, Aya, for bringing me on board to actually have this conversation today with everyone that is here. My name is Sadiq Isu. All the introduction has been rightly said, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So today I do this a lot to, I think I've done up to 4 or 5 of these in a couple of months back. So it should be an exciting one today. Before I go, I would like to share my screen for us to get started, and then we go from there. Let's see. All righty. Share. Okay. Awesome.
Mr. Sadiq.
Yes, can you all hear me? All right. Okay.
I can. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Can you see my screen yet?
Sure.
Hello,
Yeah,
Sadiq, your screen is up. Do you want us to share from here? You want to share yourself?
Either one is fine. I mean, I really don't.
Okay, I've actually shared. You can see the screen, the slide on the screen already. So you can just go ahead.
Okay.
I'll follow
Okay,
you.
so are you the one sharing now, or is this still me?
I'm the one still sharing. If I'm
Okay.
not, I'm still the one sharing, so I can just move on.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so today we'll be talking about secret and strategy behind a successful business. And this is a rather interesting topic, or something that I think you guys will find much more appealing for us to talk about. And the reason why I personally feel like the reason why we all are here on a Sunday afternoon is because we're hoping that this turns out to be a very exciting meeting. And I'm hoping the same thing as well, that this turns out to be a very exciting meeting where we can actually talk about opportunities that we have and the secret strategy behind a successful business. And I'm sure some of you would sit back and wonder why me? Why would they choose me out of the packs? And I've known Ayo for the past almost 30 years now. Even over 30 years at this point. And the reason why he put me in is because I have involved myself in several businesses, and I can tell you that I have failed a lot. I have failed in over 20 businesses. Let's call it spade a spade. But at the same time, in addition to the failure, I've been able to raise several businesses that are successful, and they are in the global stage at the moment. At least we have businesses in the US, and we have people in Canada as well as Nigeria, and we just started bringing a team in the Philippines as well into our organization, and we have almost 400 employees across all platforms and all businesses. So if you would ask, I think that we've played our card right in those areas. So if you can go to the next page, let's go ahead and keep going. Okay. So there's the reason why I would have preferred to share.
All right. I think you share. You've taken the control over there.
Okay.
All right. No.
All right. Okay. So every business wants to succeed, but you truly understand what it takes. And I'm sure you would sit back and think that, what do you mean a few of us? A lot of us are interested in owning our businesses, and, our sweat and blood is in what we do, and we've dedicated time, we've dedicated effort, we've dedicated attention, so we really know what it takes to run a business. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's not what it takes to run a business. It's just that it actually takes a lot more to run a business than just those few items, and it takes more than just your dedication. It takes more than your time. It takes more than your willingness to actually do it. It actually takes a great deal of, when there's this popular saying that says that it took me my sweat and my blood to actually get there. Yes, it takes sweat, it takes blood, it takes days and times where you would sit in your car, you would sit in your house, and you would cry because you failed in something. It doesn't mean that you've completely failed, or it doesn't automatically mean that you're a failure. It's unfortunately one of those sparks that comes with you trying to go independent. Success isn't just about a great idea. It's about execution. It's about adaptation. And most importantly, it's actually about consistency. I was having a conversation with one of my sisters a long time ago, and she said, Sadiq, why do you keep going back to business, even if you failed severally? And I'm like, I keep going back to business because it gives me a sense of accomplishment if I'm able to find a problem to a solution. And all you need to do is to be able to identify what that problem is. Once you're able to identify what that problem is, then the next thing is to execute. Now, please, guys, note this. There are some people that are very strategic, but are terrible at executing. There are some people that are good executors, but are terrible strategists. You need to identify where you sit amongst them. There are very few people that would be able to combine both. If you have the capacity to combine strategic thinking as well as meaningful execution, then you're almost perfect. But the problem is, if you can execute and you're not a strategic thinker, then you need a duo. It means that you need a strategic person, and all you just need to do is to try to execute that strategy. And that is the reason why it is called division of labor. The one thing that I see in Nigeria a lot is our thought process behind the fact that we think we can do it alone. Oh yeah, I'm very independent, I should be able to run this. No, there is nothing like you being very independent. You can be very independent and do things very dependably. But when it comes to business execution and strategic development, one stone cannot kill that bird. You need several stones to be able to go after all of those things. So the most important thing is you need to first identify your strengths. Who exactly are you? Are you the strategist, or are you the executional person? Once you're able to identify that difference, it gives you that opportunity to think of your ability to be able to execute your strategy, your idea. It gives you that understanding that how do we adapt in situations, in instances that might arise, and most importantly, how can you stay consistent? Now, please go to the next page. While they are going to the next page, I know that because they are doing it on the other side, at times it takes a while for the for the system to pull through. But now, please note, again, when you think about successful businesses that you've actually, head off in different areas, the first thing that you see about these businesses is that the owners of these businesses are not, it wasn't one person that started those businesses. I mean, think about it. You would see several businesses with several partners and partnerships and all the rest of it in the business. So you understand that there are several people working together to ensuring that the business becomes successful. Number one, to be a successful business, you have to be consistently profitable. Let's analyze that a little bit. Now, my own, this is not me trying to be a motivational speaker. This is me trying to give real life scenarios about how businesses work. And, hopefully if you're able to adapt this way into your business, that might help. The first thing that I would say is there is a book that I read. It's called Profit First. And ever since I read that book, the way I handle business is completely different. Now, a couple of weeks ago, my wife came to me and said, hey, there is this particular person that needs financial help to set up a business. And please, let's help this person set up a business. And I said, okay, we can help. I want to see the business proposal. She sent the business proposal to me. I said, you see this business proposal right here? This business is going to fail right here. I don't wish that person ill, but you see, at this point right here, this is where the business is going to fail. Because I have failed so much in several businesses, if I look at the business proposal, it's easy for me to identify areas of opportunity and look at it and say, you can actually grow in this area or you can fail in this area. For this particular one, I was able to identify it. Now, let's go back into being able to identify that. So the first thing a Nigerian does is, I want to set up a business. It's going to cost me 2 million naira to set up the business. All we do is look for 2 million naira. That is the first level of failure in that business. If you put a business plan together and it's going to cost you 2 million naira to run that business, it means that you need to look for 2 million naira times 10 to 11 months of your monthly income in order for you to run a business. How do we say consistently profitable? If you say consistently profitable, it means that when you start a business, do not go after profits. For the first month of you starting a business, the business should not be your survival mode as well as your opportunity to grow. The business should only be opportunity to grow for the first few months of you starting the business, and then you can depend on something else for survival mode. This is what I'm trying to say in excess. You have a job. The job pays you, for example, let's make the maths easy, 100,000 naira a month. What that means is you need another 1 million naira, which means another 10 million naira of that consistent month, and you cannot live above your means in that earlier stage of you starting up a business. This is it. This is the narration. You need 2 million naira to start a business. You have 3 million naira. It means that while the business is growing, you're not touching the revenue being generated from the business or the profit on the business in order for you to do anything. So the business can independently run itself while you're surviving on something else. All you're doing is growing that business. So both the profits and the revenue being generated from that business, most especially, of course, out of your net profit and out of all the expenses, goes back into growing that business. That is where consistently being profitable comes in. This is the analysis. The day you decide to start a business, I would encourage you to open a minimum of 4 to 5 accounts, business accounts. So go to the bank, tell them, I want to open 4 to 5 business accounts. It might sound dumb, most especially if all you have is 100,000 naira and you want to set up a business. I don't know any business that you can set up with 100,000 naira because I'm not a motivational speaker. So this is not buy one egg and have a poultry. This is me just giving you a real life scenario. But you have a budget and you say, okay, I want to start a business. You go to the bank and you say, I want to open 4 different accounts. Then you name your account, you rename your account based on what is required. Account number 1 is the main account. The main account, and if you read that book called Profit First, you would actually see all of this direction in it. The main account is the account that all of the money that is being generated by the business goes into. And please, when you collect cash, don't spend, maybe you collect 10,000 naira cash and you want to spend 5,000 naira in transportation. Out of that money, You can't do that except if it is the business money. But before then, you have to lodge in that entire 10,000 naira into the bank account first, and then you can now expense out of that money. That would perfectly give you an avenue to be able to calculate the revenue that had come into the business account. So first account is your main account. The second account, it's called your profit account. Out of that 10,000 naira that you are being paid, take 2,000 naira, which is 20% of that money, and put it into the profit account. Regardless of the headache that your neighbor is having that makes them want to buy the most expensive paracetamol or Panadol, think about it very clearly. And in case you sit back there and you want to judge all I care. But look at it very clearly. If you were working in a different organization and you earn a monthly salary, that salary is your salary. Make push comes to shove. At the end of the day, you cannot spend more than that amount of money that you've generated. So if a neighbor is having headache, let them have the headache. You can only spend what you have, and that money that belongs to the business and not you. So regardless of the kind of headache the neighbor is having, you can go and look for money somewhere else for that neighbor, but definitely not from your business money, because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the business, even though you're the owner of the business. But remember, at this point, the business is an independent entity. So you own the business as an individual, but the business needs to consistently run itself. So you take 20% of that money. So 2,000 out of that money goes into profit account. The next money that goes into an account, or the second account, is salary account. Guys, the day you decide to hire someone to run a business with you, even if that person's salary is only 50,000 naira, you cannot owe that person money. The moment you start doing that in your business and focusing on business growth, then you start affecting the morale of the employees that work in your organization. And we will talk about that later. See, your business money should pay your employee salary first. In fact, you pay them first before you pay yourself. You should be the last person to consider yourself in that organization. So next thing is, so the first salary is the main salary. All the money goes into that salary account. Oh, sorry, main account. All the money goes into that money into that account. The second account is your profit account. 20% of what you've generated goes into that account. Salary account, 30% of that revenue goes into that account. By no means should you pay salary more than 30% of the revenue that is being generated into your business. I'll tell you why. Every of these things have its reason. So for every business, there is marketing and business development that takes 10% of your business. Usually it's going to be between 5 to 10% of your business. So by the time you do more than 30% salary, because people will sit back and judge you, they will sit back and give you so many reasons why you're generating the best of revenue. And so therefore you should pay everything in salaries. The day you do that, plus you and every other person in the organization is going to be out of the organization. So when you do things like this, be very strategic. So if you're not talking, please go on mute. That would greatly appreciate that. So next thing is, so now we have we have three accounts now. We have your main account, you have your salary account, your profit account. Now you have your salary account. The fourth account that you need is your tax account. See, in Nigeria, we go away with taxation a lot and escape a lot and not pay taxes. I'm based in the US, and because of that, I have to pay taxes. So for me, I set that account aside. And about 10% of money goes back into that account. I'm telling you about the four most critical accounts. Now you can start breaking down business expense much later. Now, for you as the owner of the business, you set a salary for yourself. Guys, please note this. For me, it is easier to set a percentage. The reason why it's easier to set a percentage is that if you work for somebody, there is a growth opportunity where you're working. So you start in low and then you start growing. And as you grow, you make more money. For setting up your own business, you unfortunately either spend the business money, and since we already said that the business money belongs to the business and not you, it means that that money needs to go aside. But you cannot die poor now as a business owner. So definitely you need to also pay yourself salary. So how do you pay yourself salary? You take a certain percentage of that business, and that's what you pay yourself. Usually that percentage is going to spread depending on how big the business is, from 3 to 10%. That is your salary. Now, you can actually do what is called owner's equity later, right? Where you take a certain equity out of the money of the business that has been generated and pay yourself, but that is later. Forget about that one now. Focus on your salary. If you do not have house rent, don't go and take money from your business and pay house rent. Let your salary. That is when people try to live above their means. Because you don't have house rent. You have gone to, now that you've started a business, your business is doing well, you've gone to move to Banana Island. Now that you are in Banana Island, you are living above your means. The business tanks a little bit. You say, I have money in business account. You go to your business account, you take money out of your business account. See, the way the devil and village people do things, they do things is very strategic. You know, I say village people a lot because I'm like, it's very strategic. It is the moment you say, business will come next week now. Let me just take this money and pay rent. That's the day a better business opportunity would come. And you need the finances, you need enough financial capacity to be able to sponsor that business. Now you do not have that capacity to sponsor that business. You've lost that opportunity and you've lost something else. And this is another thing that we do a lot as business owners. You go in, you're supposed to run a project. And then say project is 10 million naira. The person that wants you to run the project gives you 5 million naira and say, okay, I'm going to give you 50% of the project money. After you finish running the project, I balance you 50%. Guess what Nigerians do? That first 50%, you use it to take care of yourself first and feel okay. The day you do that and a clash happens in that business, you've lost that relationship, you've lost the opportunity, and you've ruined that business. So you can only get paid as a business owner as soon as the entire budget of that job comes into your place. And you get to pay yourself once a month, which is the beginning of every month. So you calculate everything that you've done the previous month, you do the calculation, and you take either 3 to 10%, whatever it is that you want to put yourself. But again, it depends on the size of the business. So the only way to say consistently profitable is to ensure that you take money out of that money that is being generated and the revenue, the total revenue, and you put 20% into your profit account. Now, that money in that profit account, I'm sure you're curious. You're asking, so why am I putting that money there? That is for business growth, for you to continue to grow the business. It's either for business expansion, it's either for business acquisition, it's either for, it's just going to be for the business and to grow the business. Now, not you. A sister business that you own can borrow money from that business. But whoever, that sister company that is borrowing, don't borrow Ayo that money. I'm not saying Ayo is a bad, I'm just saying that you might have a friend called Ayo and have several people and say, let me just quickly give this person this money. I'll collect this money back. Do not do it. You can borrow a sister business money and expect that money to be paid back within a certain date with certain amount of interest on that money that you're borrowing that business. The moment you do that, you will see that there is going to be consistent profits in your organization. Number 2, delivers real value to customers. Guys, I cannot say this enough. When you would say customer is always right, that's not entirely true. Please, let's be clear. I just want to be, again, I'm not a motivational speaker. Customers are not always right. But deliver an exceptional project. Be consistent with that thing that you have, because when you have that, the opportunity that comes your way stays consistent. For example, I have 1,000 customers and I have done right with 950 customers. There is still these 50 customers that would always be a pain. But always make sure that your value is exceptional, regardless of if it's a painful customer or a bad customer. You would always have those bad days, but be consistent. Next thing is build brand trust and loyalty. This is I visited Nigeria a few months ago, and I needed quick cash. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, hey, I've been able to build my loyalty and my trust to a point that I cannot borrow money from you. I cannot ask you to borrow me money as a friend, and you tell me you don't have, even if you have. I'm not that kind of guy. If I say, hey, I need 10 million naira, I have over 100 friends that will say, take 10 million naira, give me back when you're ready. The reason for that is I have built that trust to a point whereby if I tell you that I will pay you back that money, I will pay you back the money, and I would always pay with interest. Always pay with interest. When you do that, there is going to be that associated trust. Guys, I know you're saying that it is painful. We've not finished returning the 100,000 naira we borrowed. Now you're telling us to pay the 100,000 naira with interest. It's okay. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Give Ayo the money you borrowed from Ayo. Go and borrow money from Ayo Fair, even if it is extra 2,000 naira, to say, Ayo, you borrowed me 100,000 naira, take 102,000 naira. Even if Ayo is bigger and doesn't need the 2,000, I will say, no, forget about the 2,000. No. I'm paying an interest on the money that I borrowed from you. It's okay. Take this 102,000 naira. Next time, when you want to borrow money from Ayo, do you think Ayo will say no if he has that money? No way. Now you're owing Ayo Fair, it's okay. But it is step by step. What you're building is trust and you're building loyalty. Next thing is skills and sustainability. Please do not go and start a business that you cannot scale. One of my mentees came to me and said, hey, Sadiq, this is what I want to do. I want to sell cement and I want to sell it in large quantity. And I said, send me a proposal. Let me take a look at it. And he sent me the proposal. And I took a look at the proposal. And I said, this is a bad business. He said, no, this is going to be a great business. I want to borrow 100 million naira and I will just go and start selling cement. I said, dude, for a 100 million naira budget, this is a bad business. You borrow 100 million naira, and I started explaining to him how that money is borrowed and how he's going to pay that money back. And when we got to year 3, the business failed. As at year 3, the business failed. What that means is this. It means that he looked at the opportunity that we have. He saw it as a big opportunity. It would have been a good opportunity if he had 100 million naira of his own and use it for the business. But you have 100, you went to the bank to borrow 100 million naira. You did not calculate all of those actions one after the other. Then it becomes a problem. Now, I know that, I kept on going in my conversation. If you guys have questions, I'm reading the chat. Put it on the chat. I will be able to answer your question as we go. But I also want to stick to time. Next is attract and retain great talent. Guys, remember a few seconds ago, I talked about employees and how you cannot owe them money. Now, it's not only talking about the employees and how you cannot owe them money. It's talking about the first thing that I talked about earlier. Are you a strategic person or are you an executional person? Think about it. You are a strategic person, but you're terrible at executing. Let's talk about it a little bit. You have an idea. The idea is amazing. But when it's time for you to execute the idea, you are lackadaisical about it. It's not because you want to be lackadaisical. It's just not your flair to execute. Hire somebody who is a good executioner. That person, just give the person strategy and go to bed. You're sure that this person is going to execute that strategy. If you are an executioner and you have an idea, bring in a strategic person. Let that person do this, be this brain and the strategic thinker behind it. See, if you're not the best at everything, you shouldn't even be the smartest as a business owner. Then there is a problem if you are the smartest person as a business owner. It means that your business is only limited to your intelligence. But you bring in a team that are smarter than you, and they are all coming up with strategies and advice and all the rest of it. That is all you need to run a business. So attract and retain great talent in your organization. That is extremely valuable and extremely important. Ayo, please, next slide.
I guess you're the one projecting.
Oh, you say I'm the one presenting now? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My phone to take control from here. Like?
No, it's okay. I just have multiple screens, so I'm trying to. Okay. Next. The secret is not just one thing. Clarity of purpose. You saw when Ayola Foundation started, this meeting. First thing first, they talked about their purpose. They were very clear, which is your vision and your mission. Let it be clear amongst your team how you want to deliver. Be very clear. Even the Bible said it. He said, write down your vision. Make it plain, that whosoever read it might run with it. Think about it. If you are in an organization and you do not have a plan, no goal for everybody to go to, that means that everybody is scattered head. This one is going this direction, that one is going this direction, that one is going this direction, this one is going this direction. But once you have one goal, everyone come together and they focus on that direction. Everybody is going in one direction. Imagine how effective that would be. So clarity of purpose, disciplined execution. We've talked about it from the very beginning, how you have to discipline yourself, because village people will consistently send you somebody who has headache, somebody who wants to pay tuition, somebody who wants to do this, somebody who wants to do that. You can help with your salary. If you know me very well, you know that I am a big helper. You can help with your salary, but you cannot help with your business money. That is not being disciplined. So in order for you to be disciplined, you have to know how to discipline yourself, and you execute based on discipline. Next is customer obsession. What are they looking for? How can I fill in the gap? Somebody was asking me in one event a few days ago. She said, Sadiq, I've been working with this particular company for 17 years. I love this company so much. And, I really enjoy working with them. But I want to do a business, but I don't know if I will fail or if I will succeed. Guys, the day you start thinking if your business will fail or succeed, go to a website. It's called howtofakeapregnancy.com or fakeapregnancy.com, something like that. You can actually Google it while I'm talking, in case you think it's a lie. It does exist. So there is a website that sells things to fake pregnancy. They will sell baby bump. They will sell sonogram results. They will sell 3D baby results. They will sell you fake pregnancy test results. It's everything fake to convince your boyfriend or your husband that you're truly pregnant. That business is successful. Think about it. Think about Uber. Uber went against all protocols that we all knew growing up. I don't think there is anybody here that the mom said you are okay to enter a stranger's car. Lie. But when Uber came in, we get into strangers' car. It doesn't now only stop there. We have strangers deliver food to our house when you cannot even eat in your neighbor's house growing up. Now you have food delivery come to your house. Not only that, then we have Airbnb, where somebody you do not know will sleep next door and you sleep in this door. What do you think is going on there? There is a swift and a change in things. So while you're sitting there and you're thinking that my business is not working, I need you to think again. Okay. So somebody said, I just got a question. Somebody said, and this is coming from Sadiku Akim. Can you help specify the actual percentage for salary account and tax accounts to save aside from the profit realized? Now, tax account, I stay at 10%. Usually 7 to 10% is actually going to be your account. which includes either your sales tax or your, your income tax at the end of the day, in Nigeria. In the US, we're at about 15% to 20% in terms of tax brackets, depending on how profitable your business is. So, that is one thing that you have to set aside into your tax account. Now, we talked about salary account. Try to stay at 30%. Maximum should be at 35% in terms of what salary is going to look like, because your business is going to continue to grow. You'll continue to hire more people. Do not hire an extra hand if it's going to take you to 40% bracket. Because think about it. Let's analyze that again. Imagine that 40% is salary, 20% is profit. What is that? 60%. Now imagine 10 to 20% is tax. What is that? That puts you at 80%. Do you think 20% is enough to run your business? That's not going to run it. There is office operation. So you need an office. You need the operations that is going on in the office. You need telephone. You need computers. You need all of these materials that you have to buy. That 20% is never going to be able to cut it. So if you want to stay at 30%, maximum of 35% is where you want to stay at in terms of salary. Okay. Next question is, this is coming from Sam Benedict. Okay, so somebody's just saying that the meeting is being recorded and would be uploaded. Okay, so I'll keep going. Now, next thing is agility and innovation. See, flexibility is the king in life, not even in only your business. See, the moment you're able to come up with a strategy to pivot at every time, that's one thing that you want to stay at. Think about it. There are so many of us here that wants to go to school to do medicine and surgery. I'm one of them. It did not work. Did you pivot? Yes. Some people did not pivot. They stayed there. Some people decided not to even go to school at all because they couldn't get what they want to achieve. But for the rest of us, we pivoted. In fact, I have pivoted so many times in my life that I ask myself, in fact, I studied zoology in University of Lagos, and I have pivoted severally in my life in things that I do just to be able to do it. And it's the same thing in business as well. Samsung started by selling fish, just so you know. They pivoted severally, and they're one of the biggest technology companies in the world today. So what is that opportunity you have to be able to pivot and grow in a different direction or grow in the same direction that you are? Next is strong leadership culture. Guys, please read that very well. He did not say strong managerial culture. He said strong leadership culture. Let's dwell on that a little bit. There is a significant difference between a leader and a manager. And you know the funny thing? You need both in your organization. See, a leader inspires people to follow them. You will notice that in your organization, you might have your boss that nobody listens to. It might be the secretary of the boss. When that person says something, you see everybody wants to listen to what she's saying. It's because she has positioned herself as a leader. And maybe that your own supervisor is just a manager, and that's the position that's the way the person has positioned themselves, is positioned themselves as a manager. You need both. See, a manager don't inspire, they tell you what to do, you do it. You don't have a choice. But you need both in an organization. The reason is there are some people that you cannot inspire. Do it yourself. If they want to argue with you from now till tomorrow that the sky is pink. In fact, I had an employee that told me that the sky is pink. And he sat on it and was arguing and telling me that, okay, he read a book in this place, also place, and this and that, at the sky, that it was this way, that it. I said, dude, you know what? Believe the pink sky. Let me believe the blue sky. We don't have to argue about it. You do your. And you know what? He's actually very intelligent. But he's an executional person. Tell him what to do, go and sleep. That's it. He goes there and he executes. Now, when you think about leadership, you think about somebody who inspires. So you might not be able to inspire everybody, but you inspire those that you can inspire, and let them do the rest. And before you know, you can actually see that it gives you that opportunity to actually continue to grow in your organization. Okay. Clear vision and mission, we've talked about it. Define your why again and all activities with it. Create compelling mission. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do what you do. Why do you do it? So be very, very clear. Be very, very clear with your mission. Be very clear with your vision. The next thing is you want to understand your market deeply. There is a reason why big organizations do what is called market survey, just to be able to understand. You want to research your target audience thoroughly. How do you do that when you don't have money? Ask questions. Talk to your friends that are devil's advocates. They can play that role very well. I know of a few people that if I want to start a business, I call them because they will say it will not work. Perfect devil's advocate. This your business will not work. It will fail. Why? Where? What have you seen that makes you think this will not work? The reason why I'm asking them those questions is because I'm trying to identify them as an individual, why they are being negative. If they are being negative for a genuine reason, I want to know that reason and I want to work on that genuineness in order for me to be able to create that opportunity for that consistent strategy growth. I want to be able to fill that void, answer that question that they have. If it's not in my strategy, how can I incorporate that question in my strategy? Now, number 2, know their needs and behaviors. I know my target audience in the businesses that we have. And I know their needs and I know how to meet them when they need us the most. And that is very, very important. See, there is a reason why 2 electricians will start electrician work same day. And one of them would hire 100 people in 10 years. And the second person will still be the only electrician in that organization in 10 years. Think about it. What do you think changed? They started the same day. They are both intelligent. They both know what they are doing. One person is a risk taker, understand business strategy, willing to expand and grow as needed. The other person doesn't want to take a risk, is not a strategic person, knows what he's doing in terms of business, or just go in there, do what they have, or they are too scared to actually grow. Monitor competitors, focus on customers. Me, I don't care. In fact, I love competitors. The reason why I love competitors is when I focus on something, I give it my best. And I bring in people that are willing to give it their best. So when competitors want to do it, they are focusing on me or looking at the intentionality behind my success and the things that I do. This is what I say to people. If you can't do it, don't do it. But the day you decide to do it, be the best at it, period. Otherwise, it's a waste of everyone's time. If you're not going to be the best at it, it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of everyone's time. The day you decide to sell pure water, be the best pure water seller ever. How do you do that? Be very intentional. Be focused, intentional about being the best pure water seller ever. Anything you want to do, be the best at it. If you're not going to be the best at it, don't do it. Because the moment you start doing that, competition is just going to crush you. But if not, if you are the best at it, I don't care what competition is doing. I'm the best at what I do. And I will tell you categorically, in every organization that we run, I believe that my team is the best at it. Period. Point blank, period. I believe my team is the best at it. Yeah, I think Diane or somebody just raised their hands, and I think you guys you have a question. Diane, yes, if you have a question, go ahead and ask your question. No? Okay. Maybe that was the Andres was in error. All right. Okay. Now is build strong business model. Number 1, choose the right revenue stream. Don't go and do business that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing. And then before you know it, it's the easiest business to start, but there are 200 best people that are doing it, and it makes it harder. Choose the right business, choose the right revenue stream. Where do I want to make my revenues from? Am I going to position myself as a commercial business? Am I going to position myself as a residential business? Am I going to position myself as the both? How can I start, build the revenue, and go from there? Number two, identify scalable operations. Guys, if you cannot scale your business, like I said earlier, then there is no point. You need to be able to scale your business, which means that you need to figure out an opportunity for your business to grow. Now, there is a possibility that your business has reached a climax. It cannot grow more than that point that it needs to grow. That is where you create an alternative revenue stream. You're already good at it. Keep that one and then create the next one. Focus on margin improvement. We've talked about this before. Focus on your margin and improve on it as much as possible. I think somebody just asked a question in the chat. Sorry, I'm just trying to navigate everything. And okay, someone said, can you help list some strategic businesses we can start within the country economy? That one is a very hard question. The reason is there are several businesses that you can start, but budget is a great influence in business. So it makes it harder for you to say, oh, now, for example, there are businesses that I would have started 10, 15 years ago because of my financial capacity then. There are some businesses that I can start now. I know people come up to me and say, oh, I would like to partner with you on a business. And I look at the business and they say, oh, we're going to be able to generate 20 million naira in 1 month if we do this business. I will tell you, I'm not interested. Period. Not because of anything, but because that's going to be a waste of my time. My time would not be able to let me focus and do that business because what you're generating from that business is not something that I can put my time into. However, you come to me now and you say, oh, I have a business, and every month we'll be generating 200 million. I'm interested. Then let's talk about that business. Let's see how that opportunity can actually come into place and how we can run that business. Now, the reason is if you're generating a 100 million naira business, at the end of the day, based on what I just said, we are partners in the business. There are two people in that business. Say maybe we are two people that started this business. It means that the both of us will share that 3 to 10% revenue as our own owner's salary. Now, out of that 20 million, it means that the two of us will share. If we're at 10%, which is the maximum capacity, it means that the two of us will share 5%. It means that out of that 20 million, I will now collect 1 million at the end of the month. That person will now take 1 million at the end of the month. So you can see already that business is not the kind of business that I would want to go in. However, there are people that can come into business. And 15 years ago, if you come to me and you say, hey, I have this business and this business is going to generate 20 million naira per month. Are you interested in this business? Yes, I am interested in that business 15 years ago. That's why I said the strategic business plan is going to be tight based on the amount of money that you have to go into business. So that's what makes it difficult. Now, somebody said you talked about margin something. I couldn't get that due to bad network reception. Please, could you elaborate, elucidate on that? Okay, so your margin is your net profit, okay? In every business or in every organization, there is what is called gross and there is what is called net. Gross is the total money that comes into the organization. Net is what is left after all expenses have been paid. That is net, right? You want to make sure that your net, it at least gets to at least that 20% that goes into your profit account. That's what you want to make sure that your net, because your salary is not actually included in your net. Your net is everything that is left after you've spent everything. So you want to minimum stay at that 20%. Now, if you have a business that is generating volume, and it's consistent, you can drop to 5% because of the volume. For example, a $10 million business at 20% is going to give you $2 million. A 100 million naira business at 10% is going to give you 10 million. So you can see how volume influences what your net profit margin would be. That was what I was talking when I was talking about margin. So when you want to go into margin, you look at what the margin, the profitability of that business is before you dive into it. Okay. Example of those things is subscription models, B2B versus B2C. Business to business is guaranteed. They will pay you money, except they are a bad business. They might do a net 30, they might do a net 60, they might do a net 90, they might do a net 120, depending on the business. I've seen somebody, a business that does net 6 months. It means that you as the business owner would execute the business with zero money. In fact, my restoration business, we execute the business with zero money. And then you wait for 45 days to 60 days before the insurance will pay you back the money. And that was why when I was talking about you not spending the entire money, that is exactly what I'm talking about. So you can have money to consistently run those projects and get paid after this project is completed. So, but subscription, there is nothing as interesting or as sweet as subscription-based business. If you can think about any kind of business that is subscription-based, where you charge somebody 10 naira every single month, regardless of what happens, that is the sweetest kind of business that you're into. That is why DSTV and all of these people run a successful business, because they are a subscription-based business. Next, we've talked about exceptional customer experience. I'm going to skip through some of these things if I know we've talked about it before. Make your customers the best marketers. Yes, that definitely would help a lot. Prioritize feedback and emotional connection. Prioritizing feedback, yes. Emotional connection, not all the time, but yes and no. No in the sense that there are some customers that you do not. Okay, I would analyze this. Like I said, I'm in the US. I run different businesses, and I have a service-based business that goes after fire damages, water damages, and reconstruction and all the rest. If you call me or call my company out to a business, if it's any of my employees, that's perfect. If I show up on the job site and you look at me and you are a Nigerian, the funny thing is I start that conversation with, we are Nigerians, we are not related. The reason why I'm setting that key expectation is I don't want you to now tell me after I'm done that I'm not going to get paid or I'm going to give you discount or anything. So I'll tell you we're not related because I'm not going to explain to my employees why they're not getting paid. However, I'm willing to help as much as possible. I will give you the best service you can think of. If my service is not based on our communication today, do not treat me as a brother because we're not related. Do not say, if to say you know be my brother, waiting I for do you. No. We're not related. Do me what you would have done because I did a bad service. So I can meet up with my service. So you self don't expect discount because I will give you the best service more than any other person will give to you. And I'll make sure that I deliver on my service. And you too in that area. However, discount is at my discretion. Because you are in Nigeria, maybe I'm leaving, I can say, okay, use this 100. Okay, I'll give you $100 discount. I'll give you $1,000 discount. It is up to me. It is at my discretion. And do the same thing to family and friends. In Nigeria, once your family comes in, do not attend to them. Let somebody else attend to them. Oh, I want to talk to your guy. Your guy will give me, if it was your guy, will give me discount because he's my brother. I beg. Let's talk to the employees. It's going to be easier that way to fix that issue. Otherwise, you are going to be out of business very fast. Next, treat every interaction as brand defining. Respect yourself, period. In Nigeria, it's easy. You tell somebody, I beg, they let you go. In the US, it's lawsuit. So you have to make sure that your interaction is brand defining. You are the image of what you want them to see out there and position yourself as such. People first, invest in talent, culture, and leadership. There is a popular saying here in the US that says talent is strategy for breakfast. What that means is, I'm sorry, culture is strategy for breakfast. What that means is this. If you have a bad culture, have you gone to work in an organization where you just go in there, it's just a total bad culture? Most especially in governmental organization, think about it. You will see a man, talking to a woman and talking about her waists in the public space, and everybody would laugh about it as if it's distant. If you go to some private organizations, you can't do things like that. So let the culture of that organization, let it speak about that organization. So when somebody comes in, that culture influences how they act in that organization. The next thing is talent. We've talked about this before, guys. Invest in talent. Invest in talent. Currently, we just paid for 100 of our employees to go do a mini MBA. 100 of our employees. It's expensive, yes. But is it worth it at the end of the day? Yes. Because at the end of the day, those guys, by the time they are done with their training and they come back into the organization, we're expecting the best from them. Somebody was telling me, said, you guys spend so much money to train your employees. Are you not worried that after training that they would leave? Do you know what I said? I said, if I want to hire now, and I go out there and I'm looking at resumes, if you work at KPMG, I will immediately set your resume aside. Regardless of what you did at KPMG, you're a top consideration already. The reason why that is this. KPMG is a consulting firm. They train their people a lot. Now, because of that training, I believe that I'm getting quality. So what I do is I tell people this. I said, I want you to hire all talent employees. I want you to see them and say, if that person went to all talent, worked at all talent, that person is a great employee. Yes, that's what I want. So I will spend money. We will train our employees. We'll make sure that we get the best out of them. We don't train them in anything. We start from culture. We start leadership with every training. Do you know that to join our organization, we train you first for 3 months? 3 months, and we train you on everything. So by the time you're coming into the organization to work, you're already trained, you are hot. We just want you to come and execute that hotness in the organization. It's the same thing. Invest in your talent, invest in your people, and train them. Because at the end of the day, it is not all entirely a waste. Now, 1 or 2 of them might fall through the crack. That one is definitely going to happen. But at least don't see it as a waste. See it as an investment. Define roles clearly and delegate smartly. You cannot do everything. God, let some people do some things. I'm looking at this presentation for the second time. It was somebody that put together the presentation. It looks nice. And I said, good job. My thing is to come talk about it and deliver the speech, period. But it tallies. I said the second time because the first time I, of course, went through it, looked at it, gave comments, was okay with it. And then that's it. Second time, come present it. The reason why I said that is I do not have the time to do it. If you know me personally and you've been sending me messages and you're not getting responses, I can show you my phone. I have over 4,500 unread text message. So by the time you think, your own just jumped to 4,501 and then it's going to continue to go up like that because of how busy I have been. It's the same thing. You cannot do it all. Delegate smartly and define your roles. Let everybody know their responsibilities. And the funny thing, people in my organization will be wondering, I don't tell you what to do. It is your job. Do it. If you can't do it, then there is a problem. Because your roles is clear. We've defined your roles and we've attached your key performance indicators to those roles. So you know exactly what you're doing. And if you get fired, you know that you deserve being fired. Because you didn't meet those KPIs. Motivate, recognize, and retain performers. Motivate people. Even if you don't have the money to give them. When was the last time you did lunch for your team? Just free lunch. When was the last time you recognized them? You see them on the hallway and you say, hey, you're doing great. Out of the 400 employees we have now, if I see you on the road, you would not need to introduce yourself. I know your name. And that one is a big impact. Because I will see you and I'll say, how far now? How are you doing? And then we just gist and we talk and, and then we move on. Recognize them. Then retain the ones that are doing well. Why do you think, did you hear the news today? Facebook want to go and hire one senior engineer from Apple. They offer the guy 200 million naira annual salary, $200 million annual salary. Why? And in your head, you're thinking, I need to own my own business. I must own my own business. Guy, it's not all the time. Be the best at what you do. See, it will fall in place. You are working for somebody, be the best employee in that organization. You think it will not fall in place? It absolutely will. It takes time, but it will. You will definitely get there. Okay. Next is create a repeatable workflow. We all know what that is. Automate where possible. We all know what that is. I mean, it's not all the time that everybody needs to do something if you can automate it. Use tools for data and communication and all the rest of it. In my organization, we spend nothing less than $100,000 a year for tools. This is excluding computers. This is tools, security tools on your computer, all the security that you need, softwares, all of those things. You have to provide these things because if you don't provide them, then there is a problem. Now, this excludes, by the time you now start talking about the machines that you need, the laptop computers for each of the employees and all the rest of it, then you understand the detail that comes with each of these things that you're putting together. Financial discipline. We've talked a lot about financial discipline, budgeting, forecasting, and cash flow. Guys, I've talked about this before. Before you start a business, make sure that the money that you're starting the business with, you have 10 times of the money to sustain yourself and your family, which means that in the first 10 months, you are not collecting anything from your business. Did you hear what I said? Don't go and start 2 million naira business with 2 million. Don't go and start 2 million naira business with 1 million. You will fail. Start 2 million naira business with 3 million. Only if 100,000 naira a month is sufficient for you for the next 10 months. So you know that you're taking the money from the business and you're putting it back into the business so you can continue to grow that business. Now, forecasting, plan ahead. In every of our organization, we have 5 years plans. 5 years. We plan for 5 years. We take it and we call the team in and we sit down and we plan and we say, this is what we want to achieve in 5 years. And we go back to that roadmap and look at it again. If we have to deviate, we deviate. We include it in our new next 5 years plan. If we have to make pivot, we pivot. We include it in our next 5 year plan. You have to always plan and forecast ahead. And you have to make changes and adjust as you go. Oh, I'm going to do $1 million this year. And you look at it and you say, no. Based on what I'm saying, it's going to be $500,000. Do $500,000. Adjust as you go. Adjust your business and grow. And plan ahead. Before you start any business, for those of you that have not started a business, I don't know the kind of people are you brought here. Some people are business owners. Some people are yet to start a business. Before you start a business, write your strategic plan for 5 years. Be disciplined. If you can't write that strategic plan, you are not ready to start a business. Write your 5-year strategic plan. 1 year, multiply that 1 year to the next 5 years. And ask yourself, does it look as if it will fail here? Don't surround emotions with it. Before you do that, there is something called 5-step strategic thinking. 5-step. 5-step. First thing first is you write 5 advantages and 5 disadvantages of what you're doing. 5 advantages, 5 disadvantages. Don't wrap emotions with it. If your disadvantages outweighs the advantages, stop. Look for something else. Don't say, business, then you will you. Don't do that. If your advantages supersedes your advantages, if your advantages supersede your disadvantages, then it's a good business to go into. Try to make sure you write 5. Think deep and write 5 advantages, 5 disadvantages. If you're able to write 3 disadvantages, then write 5 advantages. You have 1. Then your advantages supersedes your disadvantage. If it's at 5.5, continue and see if you can go to 10. Anyone that supersedes, go and scale them. Put a weighing scale on each of these advantages and the disadvantages and scale them over 100. By the time you get in and you see that you are 80% in the hole, why would you want to do that business from the beginning? Smart investment into growth. Invest in things that would grow. Again, you're not the smartest person in the world. So if you see somebody who is more intelligent than you, that they have a business idea and you have the money to invest in it, okay, go ahead and invest in it. Number 3, make data-driven decision. As I said earlier, do not decide and feel like, yes, this is what I want to do, and wrap emotions around it. Don't decide with emotions. Make data-driven decisions. So the first data that you've been able to put together is your 5-step strategic thinking, your 5-step, where you've written your 5 advantages and you've written your 5 disadvantages. And then you look at it, that is data number 1. Then you can get additional data by primary research, by talking to friends, talking to devil's advocates and all the rest of it. Talk to people. And then gather your data and then use your data to make that decision. Okay. Next. Marketing and visibility. Well, I don't have to dwell on this. This is only going to be for people that are already doing business. You have to build a strong brand identity. People really need to know what you do just by looking at it. You have to be able to tell your story authentically, and then you have to use, a lot of digital marketing efforts to be able to push your brand out there. Continuous innovation. Don't get stuck in one thing. Continue to innovate. Continue to get better. Keep asking yourself things that you can improve on. Encourage internal experimentation where you can do something. If you fail, you fail. You for something that you do not try, you already failed 100%. But for something that you try, at least you have 50% chance of success. So just, experiment, try. You might find success in it. We've talked about being resilient. We've talked about adaptability and you having the ability to pivot. Embrace change, learn fast, and pivot. Change is constant. It would always come. Learn fast. If you are not fast enough, bring somebody that can learn faster than you. Make sure that there is the learning. Build for long-term relevance. My company organized an hackathon in Nigeria where the winners of the hackathon is going to go away with 10 million naira. And during this hackathon, we were going through some hackathon presentation, and somebody brought a presentation to my desk and said, hey, Sadiq, look at this. This looks like a good presentation. And I looked at it and I said, it looks good, but is it going to remain relevant for a long time, or is this going to die at this point? Okay. The next thing is stay lean and agile. Like I said, because you have a brother that is looking for a job, and if you give your brother that job, he's going to put your pay scale to 40%, and you decide to give your brother that job, you are not staying lean or agile. At that point, you are, in fact, the decision that you are making is very terrible at that point. Now, I don't say don't hire relatives. In fact, in our organization, myself, my brother, my wife, my brother's wife, my friend, we all own majority of our businesses, and we run those businesses together. A lot of them are smarter than I am. I'm just the face. So I just go out there and then I talk and I market and I try to bring the business in place. But the most important thing is stay lean and stay agile, so you're able to continue to grow the business. Otherwise, you spend too much. Don't wrap emotions around business. I'm sure some of my employees are here and are thinking about, don't wrap too much emotion. I'm a very emotional person and I love my people to death. But you can love them. If something happens to your business, 400 people plus yourself are out of jobs. So when you think about it that way, you see that you're intentionally growing the opportunity for yourself as well as the people that you're taking care of. And if you look at Nigeria as it is as a country, you would see that, okay, so if you have 400 employees in Nigeria, let's say maybe out of all our employees, maybe you have 370 in Nigeria, or maybe 350. Out of the 350 employees is probably feeding 1,000 people. That is the way Nigeria is. Family, friends, younger sister, younger brother, relative, this and that, and all the rest of it. So you go out of business, it affects everybody. The ripple effect is always going to be there. So don't do business decisions based on emotion. If you come to me and you're talking about personal things, I will get emotion with you. We will cry together, but you get business involved, it's completely out of my control at that point, because I don't see myself as the owner of this business, even though in paper I own it, but the business is a separate entity and it needs everything to work on in order to be successful and to continue to strive as a business. Culture is the real brand. Culture is behavior, not perks. We've talked about culture before. Sit on culture. Responsibility, resourcefulness, recognition. We've talked about that. Clients feel it, staff carry it. You don't want that to always be there. Let your clients feel that your culture is strong. Let all your employees work with that culture as much as possible. Our vision at All Talent is clear. Restoring excellence globally, one person at a time. So if you're not going to fit in that vision to be the best that you can be at what you do, we always say 99% is not good enough. So if you think, oh, the best that I can do is 99%, and if you guys can't take it, you can go to hell. That's fine. You can go work somewhere else. 99% is not good enough because our focus is clear. Restoring excellence globally. It's clear. And then you take that vision and then you run with it. And it is, we didn't say restoring quality of work. We didn't say giving people food for free. We said restoring excellence. If you say excellence, it means that across all board, you have to deliver exceptionally. When you look at rewards examples, Apple innovation, simplicity, user experience, that's what a lot of people say about Apple. Let me tell you one thing that they did. When Apple was going to come out, they did not do customer research. They said, our customers don't know what they want, so we need to give them what we think they want. Did it work? Oh boy, it absolutely did. They just brought out simplicity. They gave user experience and all. I don't use an Apple phone. I will tell you that to me, it doesn't meet up to my standard, period. And I don't care whatever anybody says. It doesn't give me that capacity to deliver what I need to deliver. And I don't care. Of course, it's not as if I can't afford it. When my wife bought me one, I gifted it out. So it's not as if this thing. But when you look at it, please don't write anything and say, oh, it's arguing about Apple phone. I'm just telling you about it's simple. It is easy for people to use. I am not a simple person. I'm a complex person. I'm always working. I'm always getting things done. And so as a result, I need something that can actually meet my capacity. And so they did something like that and said the masses would love this. I went with something that the masses would say, it's complicated, but it delivers. Netflix pivot from DVD to streaming. What does that mean? Netflix was a DVD rental company before. They were renting DVD. Do you know what it is for you to go and say, well, I want to stop renting. I want to start streaming. Do you know how much you make per renting? Before then, you rent one film, maybe $2, $3, $4, or $5 to rent. And then you return it. Now, all of a sudden, you can stream 1,000 movies at will, anytime. And that 1,000 movies is now $40 or $50 a month. But then, the reach was so much, far and wide. Right now, before then, you can only rent DVD to the States or to the country. But right now, Netflix is almost all over the world. So that's how you think about scaling. Amazon started as a bookseller. They started by selling books. Right now, it became a marketplace where they sell everything. And they didn't stop there. They now added logistics to it. You buy something from Amazon today. I was traveling last week, 2 weeks ago. I was going to San Diego. And I didn't remember to grab my laptop charger when I left. And of course, I know I need my laptop. I went on Amazon and I had Amazon deliver a new laptop charger to my hotel. And before I got to the hotel, there was a laptop charger already waiting for me at the reception. I just went to the reception and collected my laptop charger. This is something that I got online. And it got delivered the same day. Before I moved my trip and got to where I was headed to, it was already there. And that is the logistical experience that they put in place in order for them to be able to deliver exceptional service. If you are looking for exceptional, Amazon, I cut the hat for them. Let's talk about key takeaways, and then I will leave room. I know I was answering questions as I go. I wanted to make sure that I finish this meeting when I need to finish it and give you guys back the rest of your Sunday. Strategy without execution is theory. I've talked about this before. You think it in your head, you don't execute it, you are playing. If you're looking for an executioner, come up with a strategy. If you are a strategic person, hire an executioner, let that person execute the strategy, or partner with an executioner. And please don't ever feel like, a minimum lock, you know, I came up with the whole idea is this person doesn't even know what they are doing. Excuse me. If you knew what you were doing, you would have executed and you would have strategized and executed at the same time. But instead, you're strategically thinking about it and you're executing it with someone. So that person is equal in terms of how you're dealing with your execution. So the person also sees the skin, feels the pain, and know how they go into it. I'm not saying that it has to be 50-50 in terms of how it's done. I'm just saying that bring in somebody that can help you execute your strategy. Align purpose, people, process, and profit. Align. Let them go pari passu. You cannot align people when you owe them money. Okay, you are driving a Benz, for crying out loud, and you've not paid your employee salary, but you buy gas, you buy petrol in your Benz because you have to take Benz to work. You can't do that. Employees are priority because without them, you cannot deliver on your job. In every of our organization, no employee, knock on wood, had come in one day to say, you did not pay your salary as I went due. Nobody would ever say it because your priority, and you should always be because of the kind of delivery that you do in that organization. So align people, align purpose, align process. Let everything go towards the vision of your organization. Focus on value creation and not just income. Guys, when you want to start a business, please put income at the back of your mind, though, but let value supersede income. If the value you're giving supersedes that income, then you'll get the best delivery out of that service. Final thought, success is not accidental. It's built with discipline, courage, empathy, and insight. Discipline. Everything that I've talked about today has been one form of discipline or the other. It is not by accident. I've seen people getting successful by accident too. But you and I know that it doesn't stay for a long time. Except if it was accidental at the beginning, then strategy came into place, and then boom, it kept on growing. If not, it's nothing. I work every day. I wake up at 6 a.m. I get home at 10 p.m. almost every day, including Saturday and Sunday. Please sit back and judge me all you care and say, people will say, you need to get to a certain stage and rest. Well, the Bible said little sleep, little slumber. You guys think about the rest. Start small, think long term, and keep learning. You cannot learn enough. You cannot learn enough. And if you always think that you always have to start big, then there's a problem. Big business, big problems. Small business, small problems. Start small, but make sure that it is scalable, and then you go from there. Think long term. Again, you cannot just say, this is what you want to do, and you stay there. You have to think long term, and you have to keep learning. You have to keep learning. Last year, I still went to take a class in Harvard just to be able to learn. And this year, I still brought some of our employees that have learned something to come teach us what they've learned. I mean, you can't be the smartest person. So always position yourself that way and learn. Thank you guys so much. I have done my piece. Again, I'm not a motivational speaker. Not in this moment, not at this moment. I just delivered real life scenario on how I think you can start a business, scale a business, and be successful in your business venture. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, I will let you throw some questions on or ask questions. If not, I would hand over the mic to Ayo.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. This has been very impactful. This is like going to Harvard or Lagos Business School here in Nigeria for a crash course on business management. Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure we are all loaded. We are all like filled to the brim of the knowledge and the wisdom that Mr. Sadiq has shared with us this evening. Particularly